Welcome back to another episode of the Enrich Your Journey podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Monahan, partner, senior wealth advisor with Krilogy, headquartered right here in St. Louis, serving high net worth clients all over the country. And today, excited to be joined by a good friend of mine, partner Kent Skornia, founder of Krilogy. I thought this would be a great episode just to tell the story of Krilogy. You know, we've talked a lot about financial topics. We've had other guests on, but obviously we wanted to sort of back it up a little bit and talk more about who we are, what we do, and just really excited to have you on with me today.
Great to be here.
So I thought we would just start kind of with our story. So, we've been in business together for 13 years. Krilogy's 14 years old. Kent's been a phenomenal mentor, a great friend of mine. We've been business partners for 7 years. And, we've launched many divisions together inside the company. We've got investment committee, we call Wealth Intelligence Committee. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Krilogy Tax, Krilogy Law, and just have really accomplished some pretty amazing things over the last 13 years together.
It's been a fun ride.
It's been a lot of fun. So I thought we'd just, again, take some time to share with our viewers our story. So let's start from the beginning. So take us back. It's 2009. We're a little bit younger at that time, maybe less gray hair.
A lot younger.
Yeah. So I didn't have children yet. You had one? Two?
I had two, I think.
Two?
At the time. Maybe a third was right there.
So take us back to
brand new baby, actually.
2009, brand new baby.
Yeah.
How did you get started? What was the vision then starting Krilogy?
I mean, it's almost hard to believe where we are today. In 2009 when we started Krilogy, was myself, Jamie Shelton, who is a partner and vice president of operations today, Pat O'Brien, partner. We started with just about $20 million in assets under management and a few loyal clients and a dream and a lot of hopes. And, the one thing we were always thinking about was the future and growth and adding amazing people. And lo and behold, less than 12 months later, you joined. And yep. I'll never forget. I mean, we were a startup. I mean, we were working off of cardboard tables, and Jamie and I were in the same office. And I remember my offer, I think my official offer to you was, Patrick, I don't have a lot of money, but I can pay you for a few months.
That's accurate.
And, but those days, as stressful and as chaotic as they were, I mean, they were so much fun. And because at that point, we were all potential.
That's right.
It was high risk, high reward, but it's been a great run. And you and I have, just been together the entire time effectively, other than the first few months of Krilogy. It's been one heck of a ride.
It has, yeah. I mean, 13 years together, like I said in the very beginning, Kent's been, without a doubt, a phenomenal mentor to myself, just in teaching me many things, how to be a great advisor, how to be a good colleague, how to grow your practice, obviously take really good care of clients, just things that I'm forever indebted for, and really, appreciate all that. And I feel like even though we're older, maybe a little wiser, I still feel like we're kind of still getting started.
Just a startup.
We got a long way to go.
Just a startup.
So I'm going to walk through kind of a little bit more about our timeline, because it's pretty amazing and a lot of fun reading this. So again, started in 2009, Kent, Jamie, and Pat O'Brien. I joined, as Kent mentioned, just a little over a year later. From the $20 million that we had at that time. By 2012, we were over $100 million. We had John MacArthur, a longtime friend of Kent's, come over as our chief investment officer. Crossed $200 million a year later, then $330 million in 2014. We opened up our first satellite office location in St. Charles County in 2015 with 3 advisors. 2016 hit $650 million. We added independent solo advisors with $100 million. 2017, this is when we started Krilogy Tax Services. We'll get into that a little bit more here.
6 years, can you believe it?
That's crazy, 6 years of having that. 2018 was a big year for us. We crossed $1 billion in assets under management. I will never forget sitting down with Kent and Pat in March of 2010, and we had $20 million that we were managing. And 8 years later, we're managing $1 billion serving at the time about 1,000 families, again, all over the country, primarily in the Midwest. And we also were named the Financial Times top 300 registered investment advisory firms. So that was a heck of a year.
That was fun.
That was a lot of
Yes.
fun. Kept recruiting, kept growing. Again, a lot of the same things Kent talked about, just working our tails off, taking really good care of clients, starting to get great referrals at this time, starting to have other seasoned advisors join. 2020, even through COVID, we were at $1.5 billion. 2021, moved into our new headquarters that we're in now, reached $2 billion. And even the last couple of years, we've been very, very busy. We're now at $2.5 billion. We transitioned a firm from Chesterfield literally weeks ago, as of the shooting of this right now, in September of 2023, we opened our first office in Texas.
That's right, Dallas.
Launched the first full Krilogy Texas office, and we've got multiple advisors that are very interested in joining the firm. So heck of a run, heck of a timeline. Again, I mentioned it. It seems like it's still the beginning, but let's fast forward to today. So it's 14 years later. Ironically, also happens to be Kent Skornia's football number 14.
Which is half my password.
So let's talk about us today. So
Yes.
who are we today from the time when you and I sat down for coffee in 2010? We had $20 million. We now have all these divisions. As I mentioned, we're managing $2.5 billion. We're now serving 2,500 families across the country. We're a lot different, but we're also a lot of the same in that we have a lot of the same values and beliefs that we had back then. We've just have experienced this growth. So who are we today? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you mentioned something that I think is really important. We're the same company as we were back then, which was all we cared about was taking really good care of our clients.
Yep.
I was 33 when Krilogy launched. You were 23. We couldn't stand on what we could stand on today, which is years of portfolio performance. John MacArthur came in, institutionalized our portfolio management process. Now we have years of experience and quite frankly, a resume of portfolio performance that clients can look at and say, hey, Patrick, I trust you, John, and team to manage my money. Back then, we didn't have that. We had to promise our clients we will do everything in our power to take care of you and your family financially, and that goes way beyond portfolio management. That ethos, that approach has not changed. It's still in our DNA, and it will always be in our DNA as a firm. The beautiful part, though, is that we've attracted more people who are like us, whether it's staff, professionals in-house, experts in-house, and also advisors who have that same approach. And when I look at your list of where we've gone and where we've come from, I just continue to think of the word fortunate. We're so fortunate to continue to find folks who have that like-minded approach to taking care of clients in a deep way, in a deep and meaningful way.
I think that's really powerful. We do talk about that a lot of, it's important that we don't lose sight of our humble beginnings, right, and the grind. We still absolutely do that every day in and day out. Kent and I literally talk every day on a committee that we're on, and we definitely don't take that for granted. But let's go into a little bit more about the bench strength, if you will, the people, the team that we've built around us that you just alluded to.
Absolutely.
So, our asset management team consists of a full research team. We've got an advanced trading team and a full investment committee. Talk a little bit more about what those three are. So, research team, trading team, investment committee.
Right. So, the financial markets today are much different than when we started as well. Back in the 90s and even early 2000s, it was, mutual funds with commissions. And, Krilogy has always been a fee-based organization. But it's not just about mutual funds anymore. It's not just about asset allocation. You have much more complicated investment products out there today that for clients of high net worth have the optionality to get into, and I think that's really critical. The portfolio management, the asset allocation is the single most important aspect of the return you're going to get. So that's number one. Number two, though, is as you're implementing your portfolio, getting good trades is critical. You can actually find excess return just based on the trading capability of your team. So we invest heavily in our trading capabilities. We have 3 full-time traders, and we also spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on our portfolio trading platform, our technology that we use to implement the trades for our clients. And I think, for us, we find any way possible for us to get excess returns for our clients. And between the investment team and the research team really taking care of the allocations and the actual portfolio decisions to the execution of the portfolios in terms of trading, we believe that's really critical. And then the second thing is your custodians. I mean, we are linked up with some of the largest custodians in the entire market, Charles Schwab and Fidelity, to name a few. We believe that's really critical for the safety of our clients' money, but also for our ability to execute on those trades that we take care of.
And obviously the software they provide, the piece of mind with the security and technology that they have is a huge part of that as well.
No doubt.
I'll take the next one, Krilogy Tax. So we mentioned this started in 2017. Another division that we started, this one was really from client feedback, right? We had a lot of clients, as Kent mentioned, as we continue to grow, our average clientele net worth, investable assets also tended to grow with that, still do to this day. And what we found was a lot of clients needed more tax planning as part of their overall wealth management. And we were already doing this, but for all these years, we were sending that out, which we still do. We always leave it to the client. We're an independent firm. The client can choose their entire team. But just with a lot of client feedback, we decided to bring that in-house in 2017. Hired a senior CPA, Matt Mercer, on the team, total rock star, and that has grown, almost vertically every year since.
Oh yeah, well, the need's so dramatic, and I'll never forget. So we do refer a lot of clients out to other CPA firms,
right.
And so we have really great relationships in the CPA practices in and around St. Louis. And I'll never forget when you were on our lunch together with one of our partner firms that we refer business to, and we said, look, we're thinking about doing individual tax returns for our clients. What do you think of that? And he said, I have 400 returns I can get you today.
Can send you. Yeah.
Because that business is not great business for them.
Right.
Therefore, the client experience is not great as well, and our clients were starting to feel that. And because we interact so closely with our advisors and our clients, we quickly realized this is something we need to take care of in-house. It does multiple things. It cleans up sort of the communication between the tax professional and the advisor.
Definitely.
The distance between those two folks is shortened, so that saves our clients lots of time, and it also saves them money because for the most part, you don't have as much risk on your tax return when that communication is so tight and concise. And I think that's dramatic. But let's talk about your role in this piece, because I do want to. I think it gives us an idea of kind of how Krilogy works. So all of a sudden we've realized that taxes are something we need to be doing. Well, gosh, what do we do next? Krilogy's strategic planning process is really important, and how we take care of launching a new potential business like this. And from globally, we start with start, stop, keep, taking care of our clients. What should we start doing, stop doing, keep doing? And then we start to work on where do we find the experts in-house to take care of this? We have to recruit those folks. But then also, how do we continue to grow and nurture? We didn't do 150 or 200 returns the first year. Do you remember how many we did?
50.
50.
Yeah.
And it was capped at 50. And the reason why was, you can answer this question because you were.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to do it right. We wanted to do it slow and methodical. We had double that wanted to sign up for it, because clients at that time, it was almost like, like Ken alluded to, it's the easy button. We're bringing it in-house. They already have the team. They know the team. But we really wanted to slow play that a little bit, because we're very methodical when we do open a new or start a new division or entity. And so we were slow, and we don't regret that. I mean, we wanted to make sure we were, creating a process that all of our advisors understood and followed. We wanted to make sure we had the right personnel, set up to handle and provide a really high client service level, and we did all that. And it took us a couple years to build it, and like I said, it's growing wild. It's been wildly successful.
And you've been partner in charge since day
one,
and you have been guiding that group on how to work through the strategic planning process every single year. Hence the growth. but also the client experience. It's one of our most popular services inside of Krilogy, and I think people appreciate the most. You have to do your taxes you don't have to do your financial plan every year.
Right.
But you have to do your taxes every year, and it is a critical piece to the services that we provide for our clients.
Yep, it's been a lot of fun for me to run that group. Just watch the growth of it, watch the impact that it makes. Not only obviously to our clients, but even to our advisors. Right, it's providing a lot of opportunity for our advisors, and it's creating a phenomenal experience for clients. That, again, when I'm explaining it to a client or a prospective client. It's so easy to explain the efficiencies that we will create immediately for them, whether we find a tax deduction for them or not. It's the efficiency of having it in house, and 9 out of 10 times it's just like a light bulb goes off, and it's they're very interested in that service.
Absolutely, it's one of the powerful ones for sure.
So let's go to the next one, Krilogy Law. Let's talk about that.
Oh, yes.
So this is 3 years old now, 4 years old.
It's coming up. 2020 was our first year.
Okay, so coming up, finishing 3 years old. So, really, kind of a benefactor of Krilogy Tax, right? The same model, same feedback. We saw something that worked. We saw something that was unique in the marketplace, and again, we got together, as business leaders in the company, and said, well, can we take that same concept? We have all these clients that need an estate plan, or they need to modify their current estate plan, or they have estate tax law questions, estate tax law changes have happened, and so kind of a similar concept, right? Went out and built a team.
It was a similar concept, except it was a little bit more sort of precise in what we were seeing with clients. When you have estate challenges with your parents or your own, it's very, very, very stressful. Tax returns are like, I have to get this done.
Yep.
But when estate planning issue comes up, it is a high stress moment, and you need an expert who can come in and really take care of things fairly quickly. Well, the legal world doesn't act that way. They don't act fast. They definitely don't act very sort of custom to your situation. We were a lot of clients who were in their 50s and then their 60s, and they were doing two things. They were taking care of their own estate plan, but most of the time they were taking care of their parents and their parents' estate plan, and that is a dynamic that is very, very difficult. So we noticed this, and we also, again, very fortunate to find a like-minded person in Deb Smiley, who's an attorney here in town, an accomplished estate planning attorney here in town that we've had a relationship with for a long time. She took care of a lot of our clients for many years, and it just timed out well for her career and ours, and where we were to launch Krilogy Law. And Krilogy Law is an affiliated law firm owned and operated by Tom Lewis, our chief counsel and partner, and Deb Smiley is a partner in that law firm. And Deb and the team just do an amazing job of taking care of what I would call, estate planning from first to second base, right? When we start to get to the, sort of higher end, third base and home run type estate planning, we have great relationships with other referrals with other estate planning attorneys that we bring in to assist in that play. But for the most part, most people's estate plans don't need to be that complicated. They just need to be executed.
Right.
And it goes back to no different than tax. Save time and save money and take care of them at the best of your ability. And Deb and her team just do an amazing job with that.
They do. And again, we're seeing that in, the advisor feedback we're getting, the client feedback we're getting. Just as an aside, one of the challenges we used to see with estate planning was, a lot of times clients, it's a transaction, right? So you get your estate plan done, you get your nice pamphlet, your booklet of your estate plan documents, and then it sort of goes on your shelf for a lot of people, right?
That's right.
Well, what we see as advisors was that a lot of times, the clients, they didn't understand or they didn't know about that one of the most important steps is going back and retitling all those assets correctly, because now you have this trust. So, that's just one example of having that in-house, having us intimately involved with that process on behalf of the client. We can now make sure that, yes, you're getting your estate plan done, but you're actually going back and properly retitling all of your assets. And if you miss that step, it's really just paper on a shelf.
That's exactly right.
That's just an example where, with us being more involved with that, that service being in-house has been a tremendous value, we believe, to our clients.
And that's where the like-minded advisor has to come in. You have to be an advisor who wants to take care of clients at that level. If you're an advisor who just wants to manage money, that's not who we are.
Right. Yep. Totally agree. Okay, I got two more.
Bring it on.
For who we are today. So let's talk about Krilogy University. This is more internal, but obviously extremely important, to our ability to continue to provide, first class advice and service to our clients.
It's critical. It's critical for the entire staff here, whether you're a wealth advisor, a staff member, an expert in-house. And I'm going to layer on, because I think I know your next question is probably going to be Wealth Intelligence Committee. If you look at our Wealth Intelligence Committee, and effectively what this is, it's similar to the Investment Committee, except it only focuses on financial planning, tax, and estate planning.
Yep.
If you can imagine, just tax law changes in itself as a whole industry. Now you throw in law and financial planning. That's really difficult to keep up with everything. And I think what our Wealth Intelligence Committee does is take all the experts, sans investment, and we try to bring as much information and intel to our advisors in-house as quickly as possible. And Krilogy University is the outlet to that. So how do we find a way to get all the information that is in our industry, which is so vast and ever-changing so quickly, to our advisors and staff as quickly as possible? It's Krilogy University, and that's run by Nathan Holt, who's the head of our Wealth Intelligence Committee, and he just does such a great job of putting out the right curriculum at the right time. Some of it's evergreen, sort of classic retirement or classic investment philosophies, but some of it is very pertinent to the timing of what's happening with the change at any particular law.
Sure.
That could be happening at any particular time. And it's powerful for our advisors and teams because they can get to the information to their clients as quick as possible and make adjustments as quick as possible. Well, it's September, right?
Yep.
Coming up on October, this better than anybody. The tax laws that are out there today and the estate planning laws that are out there today in 2023 are going to change at some point, and we will be making adjustments between now and year end. And Wealth Intelligence Committee helps us either get the information out to us as quick as possible to make those decisions, or give us some advice sort of globally to help us make the best possible decisions for our clients.
It's such an important committee. These changes happen so fast. We've seen that with now both versions of the Secure Act. If you don't have a team behind you providing you that information at your fingertips very, very quickly for you to then turn around and help your clients make informed decisions that are critical to the success of their financial plan, you're getting left behind.
That's right.
And you
right.
can't, it's so challenging to do that by yourself these days because these laws are complex. And they're changing it's very fluid. So having the WIC, Wealth Intelligence Committee, I can say firsthand to support me as an advisor is it's a huge part of the bench strength and the team that supports us.
And we're in the investment world, right? We manage $2.5 billion in assets, even more at this point. And most people talk about your return on investment when you're looking at your portfolio.
Right.
But I tend to think of your return on investment when you hire a professional, your wealth advisor. Of course, portfolio is really a critical piece to that, but also your tax professional and your estate planning professional. Those three people can find you tax savings. They can find you inefficiency in your plan. They can save you tens and if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in future benefit based on their in-depth level of knowledge of your current situation. So I would challenge clients out there, think about your return on investment from your professionals that you are using, because I think the Wealth Intelligence Committee is the essence of that. You get high return on investment when you're working with that group.
Totally. Yep. I'm gonna add a little bonus one here. It's less formal, but it's something that I think is it's so neat. It's a lot of fun to see it. It's probably not talked about as much, but I'm seeing it more and more, and it's what I call Krilogy's.
You talking about my pickleball game or
that too?
Okay.
Or your golf game.
Or my golf game. I don't want to talk about that right now.
Krilogy's ecosystem.
Yes.
So we're talking about Krilogy today, right? Versus when we were newer. So one thing that I see often is, I mentioned earlier, we're serving 2,500 families. It's growing, pretty dramatic pace as we continue to add personnel here and staff and advisors. But one thing that I'm seeing is, as we continue to grow, think about we're helping 2,500 families and clients that all have different needs that may not be necessarily a financial plan. It may be, I need an appraiser for a building that I own in Florida.
Right.
Maybe, who do you guys use for buying a new car? Maybe who do you go to for health insurance? A lot of things that, yes, they're still somewhat related to finance and or money, but not directly what we do, everything that, Kent and I just talked about. And, we now have this ecosystem with our, close to 70 employees, our 2,500 families, that almost weekly, because we do a great job communicating internally, we help a lot of clients just with the ecosystem that we have. And I just think that's such a unique, again, it's a less formal, this isn't one we market, but it's pretty cool to see an advisor ask, for a referral to a real estate attorney that they have a need for in Nebraska. And, 20 minutes later, we get responses from other individuals in our firm.
Absolutely. Well, I think it comes down to culture. You and I have been preaching culture since day one.
A long time.
Our values of dedication, abundance, leadership, and respect are so critical to our day-to-day life here. That abundant mindset is permeates throughout the entire organization. Those services that you talk about, it's kind of more like satellite services, right? It's not the core of what we do every single day, but when they're needed, Medicare conversations, those are
Social Security, yeah.
Social Security, Medicare. When they're needed, they're very important at that moment. And because of the way we interact as a team, even though we're 65 strong, we have access to lots of different opportunities to help people based on expertise that we have in terms of the relationships that we built over time. And I think because of our mindset of sharing and helping one another, we can help on some of those satellite services really fast.
One of the most unique examples, we had a client that was looking for a specific car and was able to give them that specific model and color, and it could be one-off, right?
Or how about the one person who who was officially passed away at Social Security, and we brought them back to life. They were alive. They just didn't. They needed some forms to be signed to bring them back to life, and literally had a party to bring them back to life in the Social Security world. I mean, those are some of the sort of really powerful moments that we've had with some of our clients
over the years.
Yeah.
So that's obviously come a long way in 14 years talking about all these divisions.
Can I ask you a question now?
Yes.
Flip the switch?
Put me on the spot.
Tell me about where you're going with your practice. It's growing. It's one of the top practices here at Krilogy. You're doing multiple things. You're very dynamic in what you're doing. Helping the tax team and as they continue to grow. But you're also running your team and your clients. Tell me about what the future is for you and what you're looking to do.
Yeah. So I have been very fortunate. I've had a lot of growth, and obviously, as Kent mentioned, been very involved still on the Krilogy side with all the various committees I'm involved with. But I think it's permeated through even sitting here. I mean, my passion is working with clients, with families, right? It's everything we just talked about, and my desire, my passion is to continue to grow that in a diverse way. I mean, I work with a lot of different type of clientele all over the country, and where I see it going is to continue to add and help families where I can, but also to continue to grow my team. I'm supported by two phenomenal individuals, James Pieper and Lauren Pulsegrove, and if I have a crystal ball looking forward 10 years from now, there's probably double of us on the team. Maybe I'm down south a little bit more in the wintertime. I don't know. But
well, with all your other Illinois clients who also go down south.
I'm in Illinois a lot.
Small town guy.
Fortunate over there.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. I mean, I think it's just continue to surround myself with the right team, which I know I have currently, and I know we'll continue to add to that. And if I can do that. And get in front of the right opportunities, I feel very confident that I'll be able to continue to grow my practice, inside of Krilogy, but then also hopefully continue to inspire and help Krilogy. That's what's important to me. Take care of my clients is number one, and help Krilogy grow. And I feel like we're very right in that situation for the next, hopefully more than decades.
Oh yeah, for sure. And your client, we do a lot of client events, right? Yep. So I've gotten to know a lot of your clients over the years. It's just so much fun to build these relationships with people you've been serving for quite some time, and I can't wait to watch you continue to grow. I mean, those clients that you have today are amazing folks. As you continue to add more amazing folks, your practice is going to be off the charts.
I agree. Yeah, and it's neat now. Seeing some of the clients that I've been with for 15 years, where now, the conversation is they're already successfully retired, some of them. And now it's, we're talking estate planning, legacy planning, but now you're starting to talk to generation 2, G2, right?
That's right.
And getting that generation involved with, what we do, how we've been helping, Gen 1, mom and dad, or mom or dad. Those are really, really fun conversations because, I've got a long way to go, hopefully, in my career, and I want to be able to help the next generation with to pursue their goals and their dreams. And if we can have an impact on their lives, I've got to think that's pretty important to mom and dad or Gen 1.
Super inspiring.
So
yeah.
That's a fun thought too.
Fills right into our mission: inspired to serve and to enrich lives.
Definitely. So let's talk about. Let's end here last few minutes on our future. What similar question, right? What's the firm look like in the next 10 years? I assume we continue to grow, but I guess more in terms of growth. But what do you think the industry looks like? Are we still, providing the same services? Do you see the services continue to grow as we've been growing our own services in-house? We don't have a crystal ball, right? But if you just had to take a high level, what's Krilogy like in 2033?
Well, I would say the DNA is not going to change. Our mission is to serve our clients at a really deep level, and regardless of what's happening in their financial life at that moment. Would we add more services and expertise in-house? Yes, I believe that. I don't know what those are at the moment.
Sure.
There is a list of things that we're looking at, but we're working with our clients, as you know, to figure out what's the best way to approach some of those ancillary type services. We hope to find more people who are like-minded. They have the same mission as us. They want to live in a world where they can take care of their clients at a deeper level, other than just pushing investment product or selling some sort of investment product to their clients. That's not how we live. That's not how we want to live. I believe there's a lot of advisors and staff out there who want to be a part of a firm like that. So growth to me, I believe, is going to be, it's going to continue. And, we've always run this organization ground up, taking care of clients first. And if we do all that, growth will come. And I think we've proven that over the last 14 years. So where we'll be in the next few years, Dallas is a big market. I believe that's a really exciting time for us.
Yep.
It's, you throw on there Fort Worth as well, and you throw on there Houston, you throw on there Austin. There are markets out there that I believe we can take our services to that'll be really beneficial to the clients. It's just we're going to be just like when you started tax. We're going to be very slow, very methodical. We're going to make sure we do it right and take care of the clients that show up. And, the future's bright for Krilogy, mainly because we have such a wonderful group of people here who
Definitely.
are like-minded in the mission.
Yep. I'll end with this. One thing that I do on every podcast is a call to action. So obviously the name Enrich Your Journey podcast, if you're watching this podcast and maybe you're thinking about getting in this industry, what advice would you have to that individual that's thinking about becoming a financial advisor or wealth manager?
Well, it's one of the most rewarding industries out there, depending on how you get into it, whether you're a wealth advisor or you're an expert in tax, estate planning, what have you, or if you're working in a staff capacity. You can find your niche in our industry, and it can fit your personality. I think that's really important. But if you love taking care of people and you love some analytical piece to your work every single day, that's a unique skill set, but we're a great industry to do that. I would also find an organization, whether it's small or large, who believes in younger people, who believes in the development of talent. I was very fortunate when I started in this industry. I had an organization like that who believed in developing talent. Krilogy is a huge believer in developing
Definitely.
talent.
Yes.
I mean, we had to. We started when I was 33 and you were 23.
Right,
so,
right.
If we hire young talent and develop them in the industry, and I think you just have to find an organization that has a similar mindset.
A great thing about that too is a lot of that young talent back then, to see those individuals today here doing very well, successful after that grind when we were so young is pretty fulfilling. I mean, I was one of them, obviously, but I was not the only one. And that's been a pretty gratifying thing to see that I feel like I had a part of.
Absolutely, and back then, your sort of stable of experts was me. That's all you had. Now, a young person getting into our industry has a stable of experts here in Krilogy that is, 25 people, multiple experts on staff to take care of clients. The reason why that makes me laugh is because you were successful almost in spite of our platform back then. Today, the platform serves our clients at such a high level that a young person can come in and be very successful very quickly.
Yep. Well, I'm going to end with reading our mission statement.
Love it.
Because I hope that's come through in our passion and sharing kind of our history and our story. But I want all the viewers to know really what we try to strive for day in and day out. So our mission statement is to be the premier wealth management firm that cements its brand in the fabric of the business communities we serve and fulfills the mission of making a lasting and meaningful impact on society by giving relentless effort to help our clients accomplish their financial goals. That mission statement took us a long time to get to that.
Yes, it did.
Because we wanted to make sure that it was exactly who we are, what we strive to be, and what we're passionate about. And I just hope that in sharing our story personally and the Krilogy story that hopefully that's come through today. And as always, I'll put our contact information on at the end of this podcast. But Kent, thank you so much.
Thanks, brother.
Been great.
Really
Again, great friends, great mentor of mine, business partner, and just I look forward to the next 13 plus years together.
Absolutely.
So thanks again for being on the podcast.
Great job on this. This is awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you all. Take care.